Hello, I'm Wendy Wilson, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Realizing Potential. I'm elated to have my guest in the studio. She's on the studio at another campus. I'm in my office, but nonetheless, super excited about the great things that she is doing over at Albany Technical College. And she has joined me today to share some of those great happenings and more importantly, those great opportunities that await you. She is none other than Miss Jonita Coleman. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Miss
I'm
Wilson?
fine, thank you. I'm
Awesome.
fine, thank you. Let's talk a little bit. I have to brag before we go into what you're doing so well over at Albany Technical College, because now we have some origins here at Albany State University. So if you
Yes.
would share the viewers a little bit about your academic matriculation, and you worked here for a brief period of time, and then we'll go into about the great things that you're doing over at Albany Tech.
Yes. So I started out earning my associate degree. I moved on and got a second one, and then I went on to get my bachelor's degree in interdiscipline studies. And so I'm currently kind of contemplating on starting grad school. Haven't really made my mind up yet, but that is definitely on my task of to-do list. And so I worked here for about 4 or 5 years, enjoyed my time here at Albany State, really just happy to see students succeed. And so that's kind of bring me to where I am today.
Gotcha. Well, I said it was a short period of time. We didn't have you enough, but we understand you certainly moved on. But what I love is that you're still contributing to post-secondary education, and that's
Yes.
what certainly counts in making an impact. So let's tell everyone a little bit about your journey and how you actually entered into the role that you're currently in. I know you had mentioned at one point in an earlier conversation that you really thought you were going to have a life, if you will, your career was going to exist in the K through 12, but then you found yourself in post-secondary education. Tell us a little bit about that and what you're doing and who you're serving at Albany Tech.
So currently at Albany Tech, I serve as the transition specialist, and I'm actually working with students in our community that do not have a high school diploma or a GED. And it is astounding the number of citizens that we have in our area, in our service area, that don't have that credential. And of course, that can lead to unemployment or even being underemployed. And so we are trying to provide service and training, free GED classes to our citizens to help them kind of climb the ladder to reach those goals that they may have once set for themselves and thought that they were not attainable.
Sure, sure. Let's talk about that particular population, that demographic of students, those who are in that GED sector. I've shared with you on earlier occasions that when I first started in higher education, I work with that population. They are an amazingly bright group of individuals who
Yes.
are very motivated and driven to excel. So I don't want us to miss the opportunity to share with those that are considering that did not get their GED or have those aspirations. They just have not acted on that to do so. Because
Mhm.
after that, it's nothing is without challenges, but you all are centered and you have a great base to help support
Yes.
them in advance as it relates to their degree pursuit. So let's speak to that. And then let's talk about the process of getting the GED, but how you all will then work in concert with getting those degrees that they may desire.
Okay, so first of all, I do want to start with just talking very briefly about the joint enrollment opportunities that we
Certainly.
have, because I think that's critical for students to know that you do have an opportunity to pursue that high school equivalency diploma or that GED while working on a technical program. And so one of the first ones we have is the Career Plus HSC option, and that's one of our newest options that we have made available to students. That allows for us to look at credits that you have earned in high school, as well as any previously taken parts of the GED, pair them with technical certificate program to be able to credential you with your high school equivalency diploma, as well as those two certifications that you complete. We also still have the traditional GED track, but even with the traditional GED track, you can pursue any of our over 40 certificate programs that do not require any additional testing only the testing that is required for you to come into the adult ed program. We also have ability to benefit, and that program is going to be geared toward to students that are wanting to pursue a diploma or a degree program while working toward their high school equivalency or their GED. We also provide financial aid for those students. And as you mentioned, we have a whole community to assist that student with that process. So I think a lot of times when students think about coming back to school, it can be intimidating because you don't know where to go. You don't have a contact, a person to be, I guess you could say, your boots on the ground. And so that's pretty much what my role with the student will be. When the student enters the adult ed program, they go through what is called our orientation. They complete adult basic education testing. And then from there, we introduce them to those joint enrollment opportunities. I'm there to assist the student with the admission process. I also assist them with the financial aid process, scholarship, any outside funding sources that may be available to them, as well as assisting them to get registered for their classes. And after they've gotten in their classes, I still don't let them go. I'm there with them the entire semester to guide them through any issues they may come across, assist them with books. So we have a lending library. The students don't have to pay for the books. And so we're trying to eliminate any obstacles that may be in the way of a student getting started. We're trying to eliminate them and kind of bring them in and let them know, hey, we're here and we're here to serve.
Well, you certainly have demonstrated that over the years. I had an opportunity when I was working on my doctorate to do some extensive study on the level of support that you all provide, not only academically, but that social component, that network, which is critical. Of course, in this just area, we address a lot of first generation students. And so that has not been modeled or exampled as to what that process looks like. So I've always been impressed with the level of social support that you all have. That's critical to walk lockstep with them. Let's share with the viewers who I'm a potential GED student, or I'm a potential student interested in applying and then certainly beginning my matriculation process with the goal of graduating. What does that look like? What do I need to do?
Well, first of all, you would contact our adult education office and get signed up for what is now our online orientation, because we do know that because of COVID, we are following, CDC guidelines with interaction and everything. So we now have fully online orientation, online testing, and online classes. So for students that may have had an issue with getting the class, now that issue, with the online option has been eliminated. So the student would attend orientation. During orientation, they learn about the program, they do their tape testing, and after that, they begin classes. Once they begin classes, I immediately look at their scores to see if they're a good candidate for the joint enrollment opportunity. And if they are, I reach out to the student, and that's when we start the process. The first thing we do is we do the admission application. We get all that documentation in. The only thing that an adult ed student has to have to be admitted into the college would be an application and a admission ticket from me stating that they are currently an adult ed student, because that's the key thing, is that in order to take advantage of that, they have to be jointly enrolled in adult ed and tech ed. So they complete the application, I submit the admission ticket, they're a current student, and then we start the financial aid process. Once the financial aid process has been completed, and also while we're doing the financial aid process, we're also applying for scholarships. We're also going to be applying for outside funding sources, because we don't want them to get registered just to find out later that they have a balance. We want to kind of get that ahead and already have that fund sitting aside for them should they need it. So we do the financial aid, we do the scholarship. After all of that has been awarded to the student, I link them up with the registrar's office and we get them registered for class. And then they're ready for the first day of class.
Very good. So now it is now, I believe, I lose track of the dates now because I'm blaming it on COVID and not that I'm approaching 54.
Yes.
And the reason I say that is a lot of times, traditionally, when you're entering post-secondary environments, you're either on a semester track or on a quarter track. It depends upon the institution. So you have a lot of viewers out there, hopefully I shouldn't say a lot, but there's some viewers out there that are thinking that, oh, I can, I have to be in by whatever August date. And if I cannot enter in that window, then I have to wait until the spring semester, which will then commence in January. That's not the case at Albany Tech. You all have several different opportunities to enter in the
Yes.
semester. So let's discuss that because that's important. I don't want people to think that they then have to wait. They've missed that.
Okay, so our upcoming semester will start on August the 20th. However, as you mentioned, we have what we call success terms. And so we'll have one starting in October. So should a student come in now and we can't quite get everything completed for them by August, they don't have to wait to January. We can actually get them ready to roll them in October. And so I think that's also, as you mentioned, something critical for students to know because you don't have to rush into it because some students they've been out of school for so long, they may need to kind of get back into the groove of things,
Yeah.
managing life, of course, and school, you have to know how to balance the two. And so some students may need that time to kind of ease back into the classroom or the online environment. They may be new to online and they may need to just get comfortable with that. But yes, we do have multiple entry terms throughout the semester that the students can take advantage of.
Very good. And although ideally we all want this pandemic to end yesterday,
Yes.
it's not happening as fast as we would like it to, but we have to continue to press on and then pursue our dreams and our goals.
Exactly.
So having said that, I'm new to this process. I'm very eager because of this current situation that we find ourselves in. I am then now, I won't say forced, but relegated to an online environment that
Mhm.
suits my needs better. But it's this experience is new to me. What systems do you have in place? I think that's important because we want to then make this as seamless and easy as possible as students transition or potential students transition into this process. So what mechanisms or systems do you all have in place to help me become adapted or acclimated to the whole online experience?
Okay, and I'm glad that you asked that question because that is important for students to know that yes, it is fully online opportunity at this point, but we also have a way that you can join classes via the phone. So if you're not comfortable with technology, if you're not comfortable with the WebEx or the Zooms or the different platforms that are being used right now, you can still do the traditional way, pick up the phone, call the number, put in the access number, and you will be able to join that class live. Because keep in mind that although we are online, our class sessions are live, meaning there is a live teacher in the class. You are engaging with the other students in the classroom that's on the phone call, that's on the WebEx. So it's real time. So you're able to call in should you not be comfortable with the technology piece. But while you're calling in, we are going to be working with you to kind of gradually bring you into the online environment because it is a whole lot easier when you're able to participate virtually, meaning to see each other, to be able to see what the instructor is displaying on the screen and things of that sort. So we'll gradually bring you into that. But starting out, if you're not comfortable with it, you do have the option to use the telephone to call in and join classes.
I love, Jonita, that you all have eliminated all excuses. A lot of times we will create them. I'm not good with technology, and you may not be. I've been in higher ed, going beyond 17 years and still have those moments. I shared with you earlier, I know my colleagues are exhausted because I'm always asking them to initiate the Zoom conference and when
Yes.
I really need to learn it myself. But we're in a world where we're becoming more dependent upon technology and we
Mhm.
don't want anything to hinder our advanced development. So I love that you have that piece where they can call in and then helping them to gradually, through education, be
Mhm.
able to do it themselves. Let's
Yes.
share some contact information before we wrap up. You've hooked me. I definitely want to take advantage of the many opportunities that you all are providing. What's my first step in terms of contacting you?
Okay, so I really want to share my contact information. And the reason for that is because the sooner I can get to know the student, the sooner we can start working together, the better off we will be. And so I just want to make sure, before I give my contact information, I want to make sure that the viewers understand that here at Albany Technical College, we are here to help. We want to see you succeed. We want to see you be successful. We want to see you reach those goals, because your goals, those are our goals. And so definitely reach out to me. My personal, my office number is going to be 229-430-7881. I want to give that number again, 229-430-7881. I also want to give my email address should you not be able to get me on the phone. My email is with me everywhere I go. As you know, we're back and forth between meetings, but I always have my phone with me. So shoot me an email. That email address is going to be jcoleman. That's JCOLEMAN at albanytech.edu. And I look forward to hearing from you guys.
Outstanding. Well, we're certainly proud about the contributions that you've made here at Albany State University, and equally as elated about what you're doing over at Albany Tech. You are still impacting post-secondary education. I'm going to put a little pressure on you. So I heard you say something about, yeah, I'm thinking about going to get that master's. We are waiting for you. So you have to example for your
Yes.
students
Yes.
of continued education. So
Yes.
what we can do to assist in that process of
Okay.
doing that. And then I'm going to add some pressure onto that. So once that's
Yes.
done and you complete that, we look forward to you starting the process so that we can then refer to you as Dr. Coleman.
All right. I love the ring of that.
Yeah. No pressure though, but you got it. Thank you so much. We appreciate all that you do, continue to do in the name of higher education, and certainly for this community. Know that you're always welcome to come back on Realizing Potential, and continue success over at Albany Technical College.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
for having
welcome.
me.
Viewers, thank you so much for joining me for this edition of Realizing Potential. I'm Wendy Wilson, and I look forward to seeing you next time.